Your videos are very stressful.
Yeah.
Like the Mr. Beast one stressed me.
bad.
I felt stressed watching that one.
What's the Mr. Beast one?
Yeah, you want to explain it?
You want to explain it?
I do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's your video.
So I got a, God, I don't even, it was such a whole thing that I'm trying to like even just compartmentalize.
This is like
where it
trauma.
started.
Sorry, am I digging up trauma?
No. Yeah.
Yes.
I know it was like a year ago, they asked if we wanted to make like a subscriber counter for them, hitting 100.
Oh, I thought it was this and the exploding thing as well.
It's both.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
it kind of started. So I was
Right.
like, yeah, like this sounds fun. Like, you know, it'd be like an introduction to their team and be able to see how they do stuff.
Just a clock that.
Yes, exactly.
Mechanical clock that rotates.
Right.
Oh,
so
cool.
that was kind of the initial conversation. And then after that, a couple weeks later, they're like, hey, we're doing this Squid Game thing. And I was like, oh, like, okay, like, what do you want? What do you need? And it was a lot and a lot of time. And basically we needed to build some sort of like squib system to make it look like people were being shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Blood shoots out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they wanted to replicate a bunch of scenes from the show.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you know, what they do in Hollywood is they'll have little explosives. Like that's, I think the actual squib term is for the explosive charge that propels the blood out.
Yeah.
Right.
But they can use them for dirt and stuff. So you can bury them in dirt and cover them in dirt and you get like bullet hits and stuff. Oh, that's cool. So what you do for budget is you kind of use an air valve. You get like a piece of tube, like a sprinkler valve, basically a little air tank out of PVC, and you can like project blood out that way. But when you're talking 500 people, like there's nothing that exists that can do that.
Right.
And so we went through this like nightmare process to essentially theorize, like completely synthesize from scratch, a device that could be replicated 500 times in basically 2 weeks.
So when you found out about this project, when you found out about the project, was it 2 weeks before?
3 weeks before.
So you had 3 weeks from the call.
So that's the exact. People think 3 weeks. They don't really understand what that means.
Yeah.
It would take a week just to get the idea together.
Yeah.
And that's rushing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was week one. Week one was essentially what people think you have 3 weeks for is actually only 1 week. So you have 1 week to send something to a company to have a prototype come back.
Yeah, because I remember in the video, there's a lot of problems with certain companies wouldn't make certain things. It
was a
make them in the
disaster.
volume, right?
It was a disaster. It was really bad. And it was probably like, I try to be very like kind of passive and peaceful when I talk to people about problems.
Right.
I lost my shit multiple times talking.
You're like
I was actually, I at one point I was talking to someone on the phone. I felt bad. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going too far or not. Like if I'm just being a total asshole right now. But I was like, I literally said like, I'm fucked. You fucked us. And she was like, language. And I was like, what do you mean language? You fucked us. Like
I'm speaking English.
Like you're more worried.
It's like they couldn't fulfill an order or something.
They
like,
just didn't give a shit.
Right.
And then we had sent them like 10 grand. It was going to be like $20,000, and we had sent the first.
I think that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending 10 grand,
and it's like if I sign up for something and you tell me it may or may not happen, there's no guarantee it's going to cost this much money. I'm like, okay, you've warned me. But when you say that you're going to get it done in like 3 days and then nothing happens, like how am I not supposed to be pissed for that?
Yeah. You have every right to.
Yeah. Man, so you had 1 week of planning and then 2 week of, I guess, assembling 500
So,
of these things.
no.
Well, because there was like an app as well and all that. And that must have, I wanted to ask about it because it seemed like crazy.
It was hands down type 2 fun. It was like one of the worst experiences of my entire life.
What's type 1 fun?
Type 1 fun, I think, where it's actually fun. Type 2 is where it's fun after the fact.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of that.
I never heard of that.
That explains so much. There's so many things where I know in the moment I hated it, and afterwards I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a type 3 fun?
I don't know. I'm afraid at this point.
There's sadness. So you had this company fuck you, and then I remember in the video there's like some family owned business.
So
came,
some
like, to
small
the
family
rescue,
business that's like really understands the whole like circuit board making world. They basically intervened and they helped to handle everything because they understand how the whole pipeline works. They understand how to deal with these companies because it turns out like half of these PCB manufacturing companies are in Denver, Colorado.
Right.
Like it's almost like
That's the chip, the board itself.
Yeah, where they make the fiberglass and populate it with components.
Right.
So these guys don't make the fiberglass because that's like a very disgusting process, and it's like very a whole it's a whole chemical thing, and huge machines, like huge assembly lines. And so these guys essentially helped us to intervene and go to the company that was originally making them, still have them make the fiberglass because that's the hardest part to make. then intercept them, take them to their small shop where they would then assemble them, which is the whole secondary process. Like it is such a convoluted process that does not work well if you have not enough time to do it. Like you have to have almost double the time you need in order for it to go.
Yeah.
Was your first question like, why didn't you give me more notice or something?
No, I didn't ask them any questions. Like I was very blunt with them. That's why I was worried some people would get upset with the, Mr. Beast team for asking for something so crazy. But it's like they had this problem and I said, I think we can do it. And I gave them a price. It was a lot of money. And I was like, it's going to cost an insane amount of money. Right. Because everything we do is like, if you buy something for $5, you pay $80 to ship it overnight. Yeah. Like everything is like balls to the wall. Whatever's the most expensive, fastest, guaranteed. Yeah. And I warned them that you guys potentially going to pay us this money and we're not going to deliver you something. Are you okay with that?
And they were like, yeah.
And they said, okay.
Well, that seems like a very Mr. Beast thing to agree to.
It's just like money can solve all problems.
I was gonna say, like,
if you throw enough money at it, it'll fix itself. Yeah. Sure.
But, I mean, that was like the fairest, most honest thing I could tell them was like, I'm not going to be a yes man or a no man. I'm just going to tell you exactly how fuzzy it is. Yeah. You want to take the risk.
Well, as an engineer, I hear like the 3 weeks delivery time for the fucking scale of this project. I'm like, I would like to see this project be attempted in Japan. She's like, oh, okay, let me send the idea off for approval. You wait 3 weeks.
It takes 3 months for approval.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, we're still waiting for approval. We kind of missed the deadline there.
Yeah, the boss is off, fucking another woman.
I would wish to never do it again. Like it was like 3 weeks. Like I am so
sounds like a
proud.
nightmare.
Yeah. But it was like the most stress I have endured in a long
Did they
time.
explain to you how they got into this position in the first place, where they needed this project delivered in 3 weeks?
It's just, I want to say TV because
it's just like an idea. They were like, I wonder if we can get this done.
It was like Squid Game hype. Got to do it now as quickly as possible. So they set the deadlines, and it's like then you look at the show or the episode of Mr. Beast, and it's like everybody else who did something similar.
Right.
It's like the giant sets, or the bridge, or this, or the special effects, and it's like, oh, holy shit, you guys! Like, it was crazy. It really was.
Yeah. Damn. How was it seeing the final result after seeing like what you got involved with, and just seeing this? Like, I think this is the biggest project that's been on YouTube that comes to my mind.
Other than Jimmy also doing the Willy Wonka thing. Right. Whoa. It's all just Jimmy stuff.
I mean, it's all just Jimmy stuff at this point, what I mean?
Right.
But I think Squid Game was like the first one that really set the level of what he could do, and like him just like completely leveling up his content.
I mean, didn't he say that video cost him more money than the entire production budget of the TV series or something?
So. I think it was very expensive.
It was like $2-3 million, right?
Yeah, something like that. And I think that it was approaching, or it was comparable. Like it was in the same ballpark. Like it wasn't exactly the same. I don't even think it was half.
Yeah,
but it was much closer than it should have been for a YouTube video.
For a single YouTube video.
Like 4 or 5 million, right? I think it was overall. Something crazy.
I think something.
I can't remember.
What's the production budget for the Squid Game TV series?
Sure, it was like more.
And the was it
and the Mr. Beast, if you can find it.
I remember he publicly said how much it was. I think it was pretty open.
They shared all their.
It was like 2 or 3 million, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 2 or 3 million.
Yeah,
1 million was for the scripts.
No, it wasn't that much. We should have asked them for more money, but they had already paid. It was the whole thing.
Oh, afterwards you were like, fuck.
No, I did ask for more, and they gave us more, but because we had to spend a bunch more money too.
Well, I was going to say, I imagine that initially you probably gave an estimate that was very generous, but even then it's like, okay, well, overnight shipping plus all the fuckery with the board companies. Yeah,
and it's also weird, like being on YouTube and asking somebody for an insane amount of money, because like if any other person came to me and asked me about that, I'm like, I would just say no. Like the only reason I even entertain the idea is because it's Mr. Beast. I'm like, okay, well, if anyone's going to be willing to pay what it's going to cost to do this, it's going to
that makes sense.
Because like we had to like mobilize people that had like day jobs at like Silicon Valley tech companies, where it's like they literally like had to just
mobilize. What are they, secret agents? How
do you convince someone who works at a tech company who like has trouble getting time off to basically play hooky?
Sure.
I mean, it seemed like your team was pretty good though.
They were, we could not have done it.
It was very funny. I enjoyed your video about it. It seemed like you made it seem a lot more chill than I imagined it was.
Yeah.
What was it like on the filming day? Like,
it was chaos. So like the first day went horribly wrong.
Right.
They threw the whole day away. It's not in the video. I didn't put this in the video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
we got some sneak peek information.
So like, there's a whole day that went wrong that they threw away, and they ended up paying all the contestants like an additional I don't even remember how much it was. It was like, I think $1,000 each or something like
Jesus.
Wait, what went wrong on the day?
The pacing was messed up because we had built the Squib system, and there was another company that was supposed to do motion detection.
Right.
And I had warned them. I had tried very much to warn them of like, I don't think that it should be done like this, but it was too late because they'd already paid these guys.
Yeah. Oh,
and the way we like meshed the two systems together was not good.
Oh, so it just didn't. So the reason, so the first day, the reason why it went back, like, that wasn't used is because the whole system was just broken.
It was not broken, but it was a pacing issue that Jimmy wasn't happy with because it felt like a show, not a competition. Because he wanted it to be like real time. He wanted it to be like, oh, like, you know, green light, go, everyone runs, red light stops, and then it's like people start popping.
Yeah.
So what was?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So what was happening was they would say green light, red light, and then it's like this guy. That guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. And it's like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, like a minute later. And then it's like, okay, pop them. And so it's like, just a dysfunctional, like it just, everyone's like now holding still, trying to hold still. And they're saying, oh, they're moving this. And so it just, you know, I mean, they did everything really quickly, 3 weeks.
But I would argue, wouldn't those like 30, 45 seconds of silence be cut out of the video anyway?
Yeah, but I think that Jimmy likes it to be very realistic. And it also just kind of, I don't know, it could be a weird energy if everyone is sitting there.
I get that. I can see why you'd...
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be an expensive decision, though, to push it back. So what was the solution in the end?
The solution was they basically scrapped that entire other system that they had
already paid for.
Oh, wow. Then we were lucky because we had developed the iOS app.
Yeah.
Which also wasn't even supposed to be a part of the original plan. It just like, that's a whole like,
you almost made it.
Well, one of my friends like heard about the project and he started just sort of making this.
Just for fun or?
Just kind of for fun. Yeah. And I saw it and I was like, yes.
I want a friend that just makes iOS programs for fun.
Well, it turns out it's like YouTube and Mr. Beast and money are a very good way to get people excited about it. Like you can pay people to do something, but you can't pay them to get excited about it.
That's true.
That's true.
And that's like, it's, you know, people get kind of upset about that sometimes of like, oh, I'm here to work so that I can pay my bills. And it's like, I get it. But also if you are excited about something, the work ends up being really benefits everybody.
It's better if you invested in it.
Yeah, it's better to be passionate.
So the app fixed all the problems?
So we scaled the app from like 6 iPads to 100 iPhones. And so literally we like maxed out the developer account, or we were just like, we spent an entire night just programming iPhones over and over.
So
it was like USB.
You did all this in one night
in
after
like a few hours. Yeah. So, and then you like, okay, here's 100 iPhones. Shit. So there were 500 iPhones because everybody originally was wearing an iPhone, all the contestants. And that was supposed to be the motion detection. But the problem was they started dying.
Because you were filming so long.
Yeah, because I'm listening to this and I'm like, we had an issue with our GoPros on bikes with because we kind of just hoped that if you strap a portable battery and it charges the GoPro, then it would work, which worked perfectly. But there are some issues that you just can't like predict. Like when we were filming our drifting special, our GoPros would just overheat because it was so hot and we just didn't have a solution. So there was
like nothing you can do.
I don't even think they sell something that can handle that.
No. So just thinking, like hearing this story and just thinking, we're just gonna like make a tech solution in like 6 hours and just kind of hope that it works on this $3 million video. I'm like, there's like part of me, like all of me is like stressed right now, and I wasn't even part of this project.
Were the people just like, you know, because obviously they want to know when it's going to work. Were there a lot of people being like, "Hey, William, when's it going to be fixed?"
Yeah. So I basically whoever like our liaison there, he's great. And he gets it. And he trusts me and I trust him. And so like there's really good communication there where it's like I'm gonna be as literal as possible. Like I'm not gonna be funky, I'm not gonna hide anything. But there's a lot of people who kind of are more TV minded. And at that point I had such a short temper.
From all the stress.
That I was like, the instant like somebody came, like any of their guys came to any of my guys and they were asking stupid questions, I would just like, I think they learned like do not.
What kind of things were they at?
It's just like, oh, like when's it gonna be ready? When's this? When's that?
Oh my god!
And I'm like, I look at them. It's like, you guys, like right now, you ever seen the like videos of like a raccoon in a trash can? And they open the lid, it's like it's stuck and it can't go anywhere. So it's like gets really aggressive. It's like you've trapped it. That was me. Or it was like, I am trapped in this environment of having to make this thing work. I don't give a fuck. if you have to wait 30 minutes. Like, I don't give a shit how much money it costs you. Like, go away.
I just realized, is it ready yet? Is one of the most asinine questions to ask. It's like, if it was ready, I would fucking tell you. It's the equivalent to, are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or it's like, why are you asking that?
Question is, would you do it again?
Yeah.
Depends.
How much are we talking?
Immediately I'd say no.
Flash before his eyes for that moment there.
I would say no, unless
the idea was exciting.
The idea was exciting, and it would have to be a little bit more time. Like literally 1 extra week. Would have made a huge difference, because there's just something about, like, if you have too much time, you'll drag it out. And if you have too little time, it's going to be a nightmare. Like there's a sweet spot where, like, you can start panicking at 5 weeks and you'll get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have 5 years, like, why are you going to rush it?
It's true.
Just like hearing the story, it actually like gives me anxiety. It's like it's like you know that feeling where you've got a deadline the next day and you haven't started your dissertation until the night before. It feels like that, but just for like 3 weeks constantly.
It's like the crushing feeling of knowing it can't be done.
Yeah.
I was at home, I think, for like only a couple days that whole 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think 11 flights or something.
Wait, where would you go?
I flew up to San Francisco, I flew to Texas, flew to
Talk to people
Colorado, flew to
developing.
North Carolina. Yeah.
I think I would actually get like nightmares. Just
was
like,
bad, yeah.
I just wake up in a cold sweat. I was like, oh, Jimmy's got a request. Oh.
Like I was probably sleeping like 4 to 6 hours every night, which is not a lot. Like I sleep like 8 hours every night. It was rough. I mean, like, you guys make, you know, like bigger videos, like when you have a goal to go do something. Like imagine like when you're doing a video, failing is okay for the most part, because you know, if I'm trying to do this and, you know, like your car breaks down or something, like that's part of the content. But there's something horrible about engineering, where not just engineering, but engineering from like a practical perspective, not a YouTube perspective, where it's like 500 of these have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like my video where I can make it work, and if it stops working, I stop filming and I fix it, and then I do, like, these have to work.
Yeah.
They have to work.
Yeah, and exactly, and it gets to a point where you involved in a project like this, and it's very different from just making your own video, because you realize there's so many different moving parts. Whereas if your moving part doesn't work, then that affects everyone else's things that they've been working on, and it's just
and then you like, I know how much money they're spending on this. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be the guy that ruins it. Like, this is my senior design project in college. Was this UAV? It was like an airplane that we were supposed to fly, and you're supposed to look at targets on the ground, and yada yada yada. And there was like 60 people on the team. It was way too many people.
Right.
So I built this whole like image recognition system, and it was supposed to like, I never programmed it, because long story short, it turns out if the plane doesn't fly because the team that was supposed to make it fly didn't do a good job, then what's the point of all the work I did? You know, so it's like, I'm not going to be the guy that doesn't allow this video to take off. Like, it's not going to be me.
Do we know actually how much money was spent on that video?
Yes, apparently 3.5.
That sounds right, yeah.
3.5 million.
So we weren't even right. It was 3.5.
More than
I thought
that.
it was like 2.5 or some shit. How
much was actual Squid Game?
21.4.
Yeah, and when people are like, oh, it costs more. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, it's
Still a lot of fucking money for a YouTube
still
video.
a lot of fucking
I know,
money.
but if people be like, oh, it's better than because people be like, they were so excited about it being from a YouTuber. They're like, it's better than Squid Game. And it's like,
Nah.
like, come on, man.
It's different.
It's a different thing entirely. Why are you getting it? I don't know.
You know how sometimes you have a nightmare where you go to school and you're naked or some shit, or you like haven't prepared for this homework. Do you think like Jimmy's team just like wakes up and just wakes up to a fake phone call with Jimmy or something, having like a request? You're fired.